I'm here with Jack Champaigne, talking about one of our greatest loves, music, here in the Champaigne residence. Jack, I've got a question for you. Your name is everywhere when it comes to the arts in our community. Where did that passion begin?
I really don't know. I tried to take accordion lessons. That didn't work.
Did you say accordion?
Accordion.
Goodness me.
I cannot read music.
Ah.
But somehow I got ensconced with Masterworks music, and I just loved what I listened to. I bought the Time Life record series and listened to all of those LP records years ago, and it just grew from there. And then I bumped into somebody that invited me by the symphony board, and that just continued. That just segued into the music world. So.
And you've met some very important people through music too, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Anyone in particular?
Well, like Yo-Yo Ma, Alistair Willis,
No.
Sung Ye.
And how about your wife?
And let's see. I met Yuko Jack Champaigne at a reception for Sung Ye. And I looked around, I saw this beautiful Japanese woman. I quickly looked around, I did not see a Japanese man. I'm an engineer.
All right.
And so I asked, what's her name? What's her status? And then I called for a date, went to West Side Story.
At the symphony?
At the symphony, and it was game over.
Oh.
So
Well,
that's that story.
Music brings us all together, quite
Yes.
literally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can't tell you how grateful we are that you've been such a fantastic friend and supporter of the South Bend Symphony Orchestra.
My tagline on my emails reads thus: if you don't show appreciation to those that deserve it, they'll learn to stop doing what you appreciate. I don't want the symphony to stop doing what I appreciate. Period. You point to the horns or the strings or so forth, and I'm just enamored with it. I'm just blown away. Here's an electrical engineer trying to put logic to stuff, and I'm watching you, and it's just a fantastic artistic touch that you have.
Of all the pieces you've heard and all the concerts you've attended and supported, why Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture? What does it mean to you?
It intrigues me. I know he's telling a story. I once heard somebody say that composers don't, there's no story, just music. I didn't believe it. Mm-hmm. And as I listened to that time after time, what's he saying? What's happening right now? Is this a battle? Is it a lull? What's happening? Of course, the finale, I figured that part out. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to know more about it. And I'm certainly not a music major, so I couldn't do research myself. But I determined, well, I write checks. So I knew that, going on, when you do a presentation at the orchestra, at the symphony, you tell people ahead of time what you're going to hear and what to listen for. Mm-hmm. And that's marvelous. If he can do that, he's got to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. So Alistair, I want to know the story. What was Tchaikovsky thinking as we're listening to this piece? I need to know that. What is it? I've got an extra chromosome of curiosity in my body. And I want to study this. And if I'm thinking about it, others must be thinking about it. Then it occurred to me, why can't this go on YouTube? Why can't this promote the South Bend Symphony Orchestra? I have a love affair with that group for a very long time.
Yes.
And so here I am. That's my story. Some people will remember me for my professional life and so forth. Your tombstone is pretty brief. Leave something else that has a lot more meaning to it. Let people understand that this man really loved the arts and really loved music, and he made efforts to perpetuate that forever.
It's perhaps the most famous military composition ever, Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, a musical commemoration of Russia's famous victory over Napoleon. It opens with the Russian Orthodox prayer, "God preserve thy people." The next music represents the distress of the Russian people learning the French are about to invade. Napoleon is bringing 500,000 men and hundreds of state-of-the-art cannons. The Russian army, even though it's a fraction of the size, steps up. Here's their music. Then we have some battle music. And how does Tchaikovsky represent the French? With the French national anthem, the Marseillaise. Brilliant! But hang on a moment. Napoleon had banned the Marseillaise, so this wouldn't have been appropriate in the year 1812. But Tchaikovsky composed this in 1881, 2 years after the Marseillaise was reinstated. In 1881, most likely only educated Russians would have been familiar with the Marseillaise, but today, of course, we get it immediately. The Marseillaise dominates the music, suggesting the battle isn't going well for the Russians. Next, a scene change to Russia's countryside villages. The Tsar now appeals to everyone to step up and defend the motherland with this lyrical melody, a melody Tchaikovsky borrowed from his first opera, The Voyevoda. Back in the city, while the people await the outcome of the battle, Tchaikovsky quotes this Russian folk dance named At the Gate. More battle music. This is now the Battle of Borodino, the bloodiest of the entire Napoleonic Wars. The turning point comes when we hear 5 cannon blasts from the Russians, which this time confront just a fragment of the French national anthem. Then comes the scrambling, frantic, descending musical figure signifying the French retreat. This figure gets slower and slower. Why? Because the French cannons get stuck in the frozen ground. The Russians overpower them, and we hear again the opening hymn, God Preserve Thy People, now in full glory, complete with victorious church bells. The bells of Moscow carry huge significance. In Orthodox religion, they're considered oral icons of the voice of God. With victory secured, to close, we hear the Russian army music combined with God Save the Tsar, the Russian national anthem at the time of composition. What a celebration.